I'm about to speak to Petra Barran, who's the CEO and founder of Kerb Food. Kerb Food is this amazing platform that supports street food vendors. She's a fantastic entrepreneur, full of spirit, and I know she will give us so much to think about as an amazing female founder and what she's doing at this period of time to support her community. Hi, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. You look gorgeous. How are things with you, Petra?
Things are fine. Yeah, I mean, it's just an extraordinary moment, isn't it? And it's you go from just kind of realization of what's going on, and then kind of there's a sort of energy around that and a novelty. I mean, I think we've all experienced the novelty factor of lockdown, which kind of then bled into Easter, which after Easter, I think we all experienced a bit of a slump because it was like, well, what have we got to look forward to now? And oh God, this is it. And then it's just getting your head around what needs to be done and how you're going to do it, and just navigating the team and everyone else's, emotions. I mean, I think that's the hardest part. It's just everybody's moving emotions. But I'm good. I'm up for the challenge. I mean, what else are you going to do?
So for those not familiar with Kerb Food, your business supports hundreds of small business street food vendors, and you host food markets all over London. And not only that, you incubate and accelerate foodies and entrepreneurs. And you've been on one heck of a business journey. Can you just tell me how you're dealing with that? Because there was no two questions about your situation with street vendors. It must have had such an impact in your company, and what you've done then, taking that situation and pivoting.
Yeah. So, everyone in hospitality at the moment is saying we were the first to have to close, and we're probably going to be the last to be able to come back. In terms of, confined spaces, busy, buzzy kind of places that require lots of people in order for them to function, in order for the business to be viable. So like you said, we've got three different sides of our business. We've got the streets, where we started, where we get our name from, Kerb. And that kind of gives rise to all of this talent and energy and low barrier to entry opportunities for people wanting to get into business, that's like the sort of heart and shop window of what we do. And then we've got the private events, corporate catering side of our business, which is where we bring together really great traders who are ready to be able to serve like massive amounts of people in short spaces of time, which they've got their training on the streets to be able to do a lot of that. And we go into places like the Natural History Museum and Old Billingsgate Market, and we do events for Facebook and Google and Converse and, all sorts of different venues all across London. They just cancelled one by one. And we were... The whole that side of the business has been growing and growing and growing and growing.
Yeah.
We're getting ready for a really busy summer and a busy Christmas, and we don't know if we're going to have a single corporate catering event for the rest of the year at this point. And then we've got our food hall, Seven Dials Market, which is a food hall, and it's inside, and it requires lots and lots of people to be kind of like elbow to elbow. Hugger mugger down in the pit, eating and drinking and listening to music and everything like that. And that's a whole other thing. So everyone associated with all of those things, which is about 100 traders that we work with, they're all not able to do any of those things. And every trader is different in terms of their reality right now. So the reality is, the blanket reality is, there's no normal trading going on. Festival traders who were about to go into a summer of doing Glastonbury and Festival and WOMAD, every single kind of festival that you can imagine, and they're suddenly like, oh, I can't even do that. I'm just going to take my money and run for my covers and just try and kind of weather this storm. Then you've got traders who have taken on more risk. They've taken on premises, they've taken on kitchen prep space, they've leased vehicles, they've, taken on all sorts of things that kind of would enable them to grow their businesses. But a lot of those guys are in a really tricky position because they don't necessarily benefit from government support. And then you've got traders who, just are figuring out ways to make money in the meantime. and you've got people who are doing meal kits out of what they normally do, like Truffle Burger and Burger and Beyond are doing burger kits, and they're sending them out to people.
You've created Keep the Wheels Turning on Kerb's site, and I was just having a look at it, and I'm assuming it's your platform helping anyone who is swiveling to advertise what they're doing right there.
Yeah. So normally the Kerb website, kerbfood.com, is everyone has a trader profile, and you can see their food, you can see their menu, you can see where to find them, a little bit of history about them, some few fun facts. That's all a bit redundant at the moment. So we've made like a mirror image website, which is called Keep the Wheels Turning, and it's showing all of the different trader swivels. You know, it's really simple. It's kind of, you know, brass tacks, but it's like a way of just showing who is doing what in the time of Corona. And it's remarkable. You know, you've got people who are able to make money. You've got people like Pick and Cheese, the cheese bar, who've got the world's first cheese conveyor belt at Seven Dials Market. So that, you know, there they were with multiple members of staff, multiple types of cheese in massive quantities. They're all about supporting British cheese, which is, you know, really needs, I mean, everyone needs to be supported, but, you know, the milk is still being made, the cheese is still being made, it needs to be eaten. So then they go, right, if we can't have the people come to us, we're going to get the cheese to the people. And they started driving to different postcodes on different days and dropping off lockdown lottery bags, special bags of cheese, wine that they had in their stock that they, you know, they could sell. And people get to have these lockdown cheese boards that they send pictures in to their channel. And they're, you know, they're making some money out of it. It's brilliant. They're able to sell the cheese and get around and get by and, you know, support you know, their business. Is brilliant.
That's such a great example, isn't it? Saying, you know, I'm not going to let this, you know, this can't be the end of us. What are we going to do? Yes, it will mean we'll have to drive all over the bloody country, but we're going to do something about that. And tell me, from your point of view, Petra, is that thing that people have to have, that fighting survival instinct and drive, and is that what you're feeling yourself at the moment? Because, you know, lots of small businesses are listening now, and I think that's, you know, in the 6th week we've got to sort of understand what is that DNA we need at this moment in time.
I've been really thinking about this lately, and there, you know, I'm obviously not glad this has happened. I'm horrified that this has happened, but none of us can avoid the fact that it has happened. So it's like, right, what are we going to do about it? How are we going to survive? How are we going to really test our mettle as the entrepreneurs we purport to be? And for me, this feels like a rebirth. And it's reminding me of what it is like to start a business. And it's, for me, that's the most exciting time. And it's going to be hard. And there's going to be people that, you know, businesses that don't make it. And it's, you know, it's not going to be, a lot of it is not going to be fun. But it's all about how do you tap into the energy, the survival energy, the problem solving energy, the what does the world need now and in the future with this, that is really kind of energizing. Because, like, what are we going to do? Lie around and go, oh, this is awful? You've got to just crack on.
I've got a question for you from the community. How do you think this will impact the way people socialize in the future?
I read a really interesting article the other day that was saying that until, I mean, it was quite bleak, but it was saying that until, it's not going to be the government telling us it's safe to go back that's going to make us start behaving normally again. It's going to be us believing that there's a vaccine. And until that time, there's going to be, you know, lots and lots of people that just are going to be afraid. Like we said, I believe that the street food part of our business is going to come back the quickest. I think that the fact that it's outside and there's barely any cases of contraction of coronavirus in the outdoors, and that's coming to light more and more, right, is going to really stand in the favour of people serving food on the streets. The fact that you've got the space to spread out, the fact that you can go to where the people are and be really mobile, really flexible, you know, and the fact that markets are still running now is kind of like all pointing to street food being able to kind of like become active again.
Yeah, absolutely. And do you think on that, just on that point there, it's also quite interesting, isn't it, for businesses, and I think it's a lesson for big and small businesses, to not have all your eggs in one basket. I think sometimes if you're in that bubble and things are going well, and I know many businesses who have had that through various means, you don't go and work your muscle because sometimes you're so tired you can't even figure out doing it, but you have to be able to diversify in your business.
Yeah, I think it's one of the real benefits of the kind of businesses that we work with, which is that they have all started on the street, where you don't belong, you don't own any property, you don't even lease any property, you're not, the city isn't really designed for you, and yet the city needs you. Because you need to feed people working and out and about, and people just wanting to be, you know, enjoying London. And so you're dealing with a group of entrepreneurs who've had to duck and dive and swivel the entire way along their journey, right?
So in a way, for your community, you feel like they've worked that muscle continuously. I don't know about your community, but a lot of this community we've been talking about, you know, have been worried about maybe seeming inappropriate to be, you know, driving their businesses forward in this period of time. And I'm sure that you'll agree, it's all about going for it right now, because we need small businesses to be here on the other side.
Yeah, it's about going for it. It's a really tricky one, because at the same time as it is about going for it, there's also plenty of people who just can't cope right now, and they just, you know,
Good point.
Whoever you are, like street food or otherwise, you're just like, I need a break, I need to grieve, I need to look after my family, you know, whatever. And I think there's something else going alongside of this as well, which is like, you know, some people just want to stop, and that's okay too, you know, if they're able to.
And another question, Ginger Squirrels, please give examples of how you both have had to swivel during challenging times you've experienced. I can say from my side, I've said this to the community, you know, for us that we have a lot of events in our roster, like you, but we have events all over the country. We have, and you know, we don't know what the status is. We're not cancelling anything at the moment, but we are looking into all of this and what's going to be possible for us. And so for us now, we're working out with this community, driving channels, social channels that we never even looked into, always had it on the to-do list, always, never got round to it. So 3 people in my team have all changed jobs in this period of time. We've had to furlough our cafe staff and our wonderful team at Holly and Co. But they've, you know, so many things have changed. Honestly, in the last 5 weeks, there's not actually an area of our company that has stayed the same. So for me, this is the biggest so far in Holly and Co. Challenge, but also change up we've had so dramatically quickly, where people are just changing roles and being okay with it. And normally you'd have to have that bedding in time, wouldn't you, and asking. And this is just all done over video conference, saying, shit, we need this, would you jump in? And you know, if you've got a good team, they do. So that's my example there.
And it's remarkable to see, Holly, like, good for you. It's been, you know, it's really great to see you just kind of like powering on and kind of like bringing people together.
Thank you. And you know what? I'm sure, Petra, for you, it's my sanity as well.
I think there's just been so many times throughout Kerb's history, which is nearly 8 years in October, of having to rethink. I mean, you know, we've like hit the skids so many times. There was a time 5 years ago when we plunged all our money into this site in Hackney Wick, which was only, meanwhile, we were only ever going to have it for a few months, but we kind of naively put all of our savings into making it this amazing venue space. And it was incredible, but it needed a real long run to kind of build and become profitable and everything. And we were getting into it. Suddenly they said, we need the space back. You've got to get out. And we had to do this like Lehman Brothers style exit from this property that we'd kind of made our office and made our venue space and, you know, had a bar in and everything. And get out within, 24 hours. It was hell. And, after that, we realized that we had to really diversify and put so much more into our private event side of our business and not rely so much on just the kind of,
yes.
The storm of events and public stuff. And we love doing that, but we had to kind of anchor it in some stuff where we know we're going to be getting this business in then, and we can plan for it, and the traders can plan for it as well. There's just been so many moments along the way, and taking risks and things working, but things not working. And I don't know, I just think it's been the sort of rhythm of the whole business all along in many ways.
I think so. And tell me the one thing, Petra, you think you're going to learn personally out of this as an entrepreneur. And I know you're a busy woman and you're always all over the place and over the globe. Tell me, you personally, from a business perspective, what you think as an entrepreneur you're going to learn from this.
It's kind of simple, really. I think that, there's a lot of talk about people being entrepreneurs. Everyone's an entrepreneur now. I feel like this is a moment to really put that to the test. And in raw form, what is entrepreneurship? When all else has gone away, what does it mean? And what is community? Because the community are the people around you, your critical connections that enable your business to work and enable you to pursue your missions within your business and connect to other people. So it's really about a test of learning about entrepreneurship in its rawest form and learning about community when there's no money around. And I'm going to start this podcast tomorrow, Kerb on the Inside. We'll put it on our channels. But it's what happens when we've gone indoors and all our outside activity is stopped. And I'm going to be interviewing all sorts of people in our industry, starting with Zan Kaufman from Bleekerberger tomorrow. Just about what are you doing when the chips are down? How are you finding ways to swivel? How are you finding ways to survive, thrive, and possibly flourish? And I think I'm going to learn so much from those conversations alone. I just think it's a brass tacks moment to go, what is vital in life, and what do we really care about, and what's worth saving?
Oh, Petra, you are brilliant. You are absolutely brilliant. And I know it's bloody tough for all of us, but I know it's especially tough for your industry. So anything I can ever do let me know. And I'm sure this community will join you on the podcast tomorrow. We'll be at the party. We'll check out your website and we'll support those small street food vendors. But thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you so much for yours, and all the best. It's so nice to see you again.
Oh, so lovely to see you. Take care.
Take care. Bye.
Isn't she just the most wonderful woman? And I think it's right what she's saying about, she's almost like saying, let's test ourselves. Are we entrepreneurs? Are we going to go for it? Let's summarize what she said. The hospitality industry has been affected the most, and we would agree, wouldn't we? The first to close and probably the last to come back. Main advice is swiveling. We've got a new word for pivot. We're swiveling. Swivel your business and adapt, and look to how you're going to survive right now, and how can we test our mettle as an entrepreneur we're meant to be. It's a rebirth. It's a reminder of what it's like to start a business again. What holes do you have in your business that you weren't able to patch up before? Did your business model actually work? Have you asked yourself that? Was it a lot of hard work for not much return? Is this the time for you to make some changes? Everyone can start from scratch right now. We're at the starting line. Now is a greater time than ever. Learn about entrepreneurship right now. Learn about your community and get swiveling. What a wonderful woman. As ever, I'd love to thank NatWest, Royal Mail 3 and Dell for helping me bring SME SOS to life, and being able to interview such as Petra, these wonderful entrepreneurs. But for now, thank you so much for joining, and thank you, Petra, again for supporting all that food community who need you so much. Lots of love to you all.